Hey guys, Sandy here. Today we're talking about all things organizing. You see, a few years ago I actually stopped organizing and started building systems because no matter how many times I reset a space, it always ended up messy again. What I realized was that most organizing fails because it's built around editing and tidying, thinking and making decisions on the run. So instead of asking, how do I make this look neat? I started asking, how do I make this easy when I'm busy, tired, or in a hurry? And that shift changed everything for me. My system is really simple. I don't start by cleaning everything out or clearing everything out. I start by defining exactly what belongs in the space and nothing else. So no miscellaneous categories. No, I'll deal with that later bins. Because every time you create a miscellaneous category, you're just really postponing clutter. The biggest change for me was that I stopped organizing objects and I started organizing decisions. Because when decisions are already made, the system runs itself. If you have to stop and think about where something goes, the system fails. But when everything has a clear place, things naturally get put away, even on busy days. Today, I'm going to show you several systems I set up once. Some of these are 1 to 3 years old and why they've actually stayed organized. These aren't Pinterest perfect spaces. They're lived in, real life systems that work. And this is something I've done slowly in bite-sized pieces. Sometimes it was one drawer, sometimes one shelf. The key is starting with a space that causes daily friction, something you touch all the time. And for most people, that drawer, and mine, was a kitchen junk drawer. I actually had two. So if you want to get organized with my tried and true system, grab your coffee, get comfy, and let's dive in. So the first system I want to show you is my kitchen junk drawer, because honestly, this is where most organizing falls apart. And I had two that were always a mess, no matter how many times I redid them or straightened them up. I think most junk drawers get organized once, look great for a week, and then slowly turn back into chaos. And that's usually because they're organized around how things look, not how they're used. This drawer was set up over a year ago using Dollar Tree office organizers, and I haven't had to redo it since. But before I touched anything, I asked one question: what actually belongs in the drawer? Not what could go here, not what I don't know where else to put it, just what truly belongs. So this drawer holds everyday items we reach for quickly, like scissors, tape, pens, small tools, and everything has its own defined place. No overlaps, no stacking, and no guessing. And this is where the system really matters. One thing I want to say, if you've tried organizing before and it didn't stick, that doesn't mean you failed. It means the system was asking too much of you. Real life is busy. People are tired. Things need to be easy. If an organizing system only works when everything is calm and perfect, it's not a system, it's a setup. This drawer works on normal days, messy days, rush days, because when something comes out, there's only one place it can go back. And right next to this drawer is another one that used to be just as messy, and now it works the exact same way. This drawer holds everything related to our coffee accessories, wine tools, openers, stoppers, hand sanitizer, and instead of one big catch-all space, everything is compartmentalized by category. This drawer works because everything is grouped by like items, not because it's one category like junk drawer, but because nothing is random, nothing floats. That means when you're in a hurry, you don't have to think. You open the drawer, grab what you need, and when you're done, it goes right back where it belongs. And that's really the key difference. I have stopped organizing objects and started organizing decisions. If you have to stop and decide where something goes, the system fails. But when every category is clearly defined, things naturally get put back away, even when you're busy. And these drawers aren't perfect. They're just clear, and that's why they've stayed organized. And even my partner has been able to stay with the system, and he's, well, not the most organized person. But in the end, I think he actually enjoys the organization and being able to find something when he wants it. Once you understand the system, you'll start seeing every space differently. Another space where the system really proved itself for me is my spice cabinet. I actually had an expensive organizing system at one point, and somehow my spices were still a mess. I'd spend minutes digging around every time I cooked, knocking things over. When I redid this, I didn't focus on making it look fancy. I focused on access. Using simple wire shelves and a lazy Susan, every spice is visible, nothing is stacked, and everything has a clear zone. And here's the important part. I set this up over a year ago and it still looks the same today because I don't have to think where I put things back. Now this next one is one of my favorite systems because it changes how I start my day. It's the top drawer in my dresser and it's my out-of-the-door space. Everything in here supports one moment, grabbing what I need quickly when I'm leaving. Purse essentials, chargers, cords, things that used to end up in random places and easily lost or misplaced. And by using Dollar Tree acrylic containers, they keep everything visible and in place. So when I'm rushing, I don't have to think. And that little bit of calm makes a big difference. Now, not every system lives inside a drawer or behind a door. Some spaces need storage that work hard and look great doing it. In my craft room, I use Dollar Tree wire wastebaskets to store vinyl, and I love this system for a few reasons. I love that everything is visible and I can see what I have at a glance, which means I don't overbuy or forget what's there. Second, the baskets are breathable and flexible. Nothing gets crushed and nothing gets buried in a pile. And third, the wastebaskets mounted on the wall become vertical storage that frees up floor space and closet space. And I think it adds a pop of color to my craft room without looking like clutter. The same idea would work beautifully in a playroom, a kid's room, or even a closet. Anywhere you want things off the floor, but easy to grab. Again, clear categories, easy access, and no overthinking. The container doesn't matter as much as the job it's assigned. And speaking of storage in plain sight, some storage needs to work hard, but it still needs to look good out in the open. One of my favorite examples of this is my sunglass storage. I used an old wooden silverware box, the kind you see all the time at thrift stores, and after a quick makeover, I turned it into a dedicated place for sunglasses. What I love about these boxes is that they're already divided and they're lined, so everything stays protected. It lives right on a nightstand, so it's easy access, nothing gets scratched, and nothing ends up piled in a drawer. Again, clear purpose, clear boundaries, and no overthinking. And this next one really sums up what my channel is about, sharing expensive looking dupes that actually make sense for real homes. There are so many beautiful ways to disguise toilet paper, and a lot of them are gorgeous, but they can also be really expensive. This one cost me about $5 to make using a thrifted basket and a Dollar Tree plunger, and it's a dupe for Pottery Barn's toilet paper holder that retails for $60. It does the exact same job, looks beautiful, and fits seamlessly into the space without spending the extra money. Plus, it has a clear purpose and it's easy to fill. The next space I want to show you is my bathroom linen closet, and this one is a really good example of why systems matter more than perfection. This system has been in place for about 3 years, and honestly, it still works. It doesn't need to be redone, it just needs a little tidying. That's actually one of my favorite signs that a system is doing its job. When a space only needs a reset, not a total overhaul, you know it's working. Everything in here has a category, and those categories haven't changed over time. Linens stay with linens, towels stay together, and all my beauty products and supplies are really micro-categorized. So instead of pulling everything out and starting over, all I had to do was straighten, restack, and put some things back where they already belong. And this is what I mean when I say organizing doesn't have to be dramatic to be effective. Just so you know, my house is not perfectly organized. I still have many areas I haven't gotten to yet, but this system has helped me so I can move forward with other areas in bite-sized pieces and over time. Trying to do everything at once is usually what makes people quit. For me, small, manageable systems are what actually stick, and the bathroom cabinet is a space that didn't have a system, and it showed. So instead of shuffling things around, I stopped and decided what this space actually needed to hold. I broke it down into 4 clear sections. Hair tools that I don't use often but might want to keep for now, those go in the back and to the side. Hair products, face products, and body products. I also let myself be realistic. There are a few tools I'm holding on to for another year, and if I don't use them, I'll reevaluate then. That way, they're not cluttering the space I use every day, but they're still accessible. I also added a couple of Dollar Tree spray bottle holders for items I reach for constantly. Those stay front and center, so I'm not digging every morning. This cabinet works now because it has boundaries. Each category has a limit, and when it fills up, that's my cue not to add any more storage, but to edit. When systems are clear, that's how they work, even on busy days. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next Saturday.